Picture two rooms. In the first room stand the 10 richest people alive. Add up what they own, and you get more than $3 trillion. In the second room stand a billion people, the poorest billion on Earth, the bottom fifth of all humanity. Now, I ask one question, and it's the whole video. What religion is each room? And the harder question underneath it, why are the two rooms so different? I made a video earlier about which religion supports getting rich. Today, I went looking for the other side of the mirror. Because when you stop staring at the wealthy and start looking at the poor, the story doesn't just flip. It reveals something the rich side keeps hidden. Start with a number most people think is the final answer. In 2015, the wealth research firm New World Wealth studied $13.1 million millionaires worldwide. Of those, 56.2% identified as Christian, Muslims 6.5%, Hindus 3.9%, Jews 1.7%. The rest, nearly a third, were other or no religion. Look at that and you'll conclude instantly. Want to be rich? Be Christian. Roll credits. Done. But wait, because when I went hunting for data on the poor, something strange showed up. There's an academic study, published through Springer, that did the thing almost nobody does. It analyzed the religious makeup of the poorest 20% of the planet, roughly a billion people at the bottom of the global income distribution. And here's what made me stop. Among that poorest billion, the two largest religious groups are Christians and Muslims. Yes, the same faith that tops the millionaire list also sits near the top of the poor list. Sit with that. Christianity is the religion of the most millionaires and the religion of enormous numbers of the desperately poor. How can one faith stand at both ends of the same ruler? The answer is the biggest lesson in this video, and it demolishes the whole idea that some religion makes you rich. It's almost embarrassingly simple. Christianity is the most geographically spread out religion on earth. According to Pew Research, Christians are distributed remarkably evenly, roughly a quarter in Europe, a quarter in Latin America, a quarter in sub-Saharan Africa. And sub-Saharan Africa holds some of the most extreme poverty in the world. So when a religion has followers in both Switzerland and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it lands at the top of the rich list and the poor list at the same time. Not because of doctrine, because of geography. This is the part a quick Google search will never hand you. The millionaire numbers don't measure which faith creates money. They measure which religion happens to be common in wealthy countries. And when you flip to the poverty side, the same logic runs in reverse. Now to Islam, and here the picture sharpens in a way that's genuinely uncomfortable. Islam is the world's second largest religion, nearly 25% of humanity, about 2 billion people. But on the millionaire list, they're just 6.5%. That's almost 4 times below their share of the population. And at the poor end, one of the largest groups. Why? Again, don't blame the scripture. Look at the map. Most Muslims live in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa, Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria. These are not wealthy economies. According to Pew, only about 20% of Muslims live in the Middle East and North Africa, the region many people imagine is Islam's only home. The vast majority live in low and middle-income countries. When your community of believers is concentrated in the poorest nations, the global wealth chart will reflect that, no matter what your faith says about the dignity of honest trade. And now the part I sat with longest. A real paradox. There's a correlation sociologists have tracked for decades, and it's so consistent it's nearly a law. Gallup surveyed 114 countries in 2009. In the poorest nations, under $5,000 per person, a median of 95% of adults said religion was an important part of their daily life. In the richest nations, that dropped to 47%. Pew found a strong negative correlation, around minus 0.8, between how religious a country is and how wealthy it is. Let that hang in the air. The poorer the country, the more religious. The richer, the more it drifts from faith. That points to an uncomfortable possibility. And I'll say plainly that scholars still argue about this. It is not settled fact. The possibility is this. Maybe religion doesn't make people poor. Maybe poverty, the insecurity, the absence of any other safety net is what drives people toward religion. When you have no health insurance, no pension, nothing certain about tomorrow, faith becomes the last thing to hold on to. The wealthy Swede has the state. The poor Malawian has prayer. The researcher Gregory Paul in 2009 put it bluntly, religion thrives most in the most dysfunctional societies. Plenty of people push back hard, but the correlation just sits there, stubborn. Then the United States walks in and smashes the theory. America is the richest large nation on earth. By the rule I just described, Americans should be as indifferent to religion as the Swedes or the Japanese. They're not. More than half of Americans call religion an essential part of their lives, far higher than Canada, Australia, or Germany, a country that is both ultra-rich and ultra-devout. It is the single biggest exception on the entire chart, and nobody has fully explained why. It's a reminder that every rule about money and faith has a crack in it, and this crack is the size of a superpower. One more corner I want to include, with a warning attached. People often pull Buddhism and Hinduism into the poverty conversation, because nearly all their followers live in Asia. Pew reports that 99% of Hindus and 99% of Buddhists live in the Asia-Pacific region, and 95% of all Hindus live in India alone, a country still home to hundreds of millions below the poverty line. But here I have to be honest. There's no clean, audited data set that isolates what percentage of Buddhists are poor worldwide with any confidence. Most of what gets said here is inferred from geography, not drawn from a survey that actually counted people by religion and income. I'm flagging that so you don't trust a number that doesn't exist. So back to the two rooms. The rich room, the top 10, is tracked by Bloomberg at the end of 2025, led by Elon Musk, past $1 trillion. 8 of the 10 are American in tech, and most of them claim no religion publicly. Several describe themselves as atheist or non-practicing. The poor room, 1 billion people, mostly Christian and Muslim, living in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, and almost all of them deeply religious. Look at those two rooms, and a truth appears that no single wealth chart shows you. At the absolute peak of wealth, religion nearly vanishes. At the absolute floor of poverty, religion is everywhere. Dense, alive, essential. Money and faith seem to flow in opposite directions. So the question I'm leaving you with isn't which religion makes you poor? That's the wrong question, and now you see why. The real one is this: if wealth pulls people away from God and poverty pushes people toward God, then as the whole world slowly grows richer, the way it has over the past few decades, are we quietly building a material paradise with no room left for faith? Or are the people in that second room, the billion with nothing but their belief, holding the one thing the first room, with its $3 trillion, lost a long time ago without ever noticing? I don't have the answer. I don't think anyone does. But that's the question worth carrying after this video goes.